Change management piece is huge. I mean, you can do a beautiful project, but at the end of the day, if the organization isn't ready to really move forward, then it doesn't matter that you did it. So part of it is really deciding, is this an engagement that the organization is actually ready to take on? And so we've had clients that have approached us about engagements, and we've said, for this to really work, this needs to be in place. And in some cases, it's meant we haven't done the engagement for several years. They've waited that long to do it because it took them the time to really get ready for it. And then we've come in and done the work. But at the end of the day, you really have to, first of all, know the client is ready. You have to also, through the engagement, really be assessing whether the client is capable of implementing and what the barriers are going to be, so you're addressing that all the way through the engagement. So that by the time they get done, they're really ready and prepared to take the next step.
I have now learned that numbers don't talk to everybody. So what's so interesting is that when you take this historical information, which all of the board members will have seen, but may not have really seen it in the same format, when you put it in a graphic format, it's like all of a sudden a light goes on where maybe there wasn't the same understanding before. And one of the things that I would note about working in the social sector, particularly with small to medium-sized nonprofits, is that generally it's primarily programmatic people, mission-focused people who don't think of themselves as having a high level of expertise in finance. And so this process of sort of showing them what they've already seen in graphic form it has a really empowering effect on the people around the table. And so we're usually presenting this information to the executive director, the board members, and maybe some of the other senior staff members. And so it often kind of changes the dynamic around some of these issues that they've been sort of wrestling with around financial sustainability. So I think that's one of the ways that we have of sort of getting people to think about things that they already know, but in a different way.
I see us sometimes sort of verging a little closer to implementation for some clients and some kinds of projects. Sometimes having somebody stay on a little longer and really work through that change management process, even long after sort of the initial team that went in and sort of did a big strategy project has stepped aside, things like that. So I think there's also some pieces in sort of being a little bit flexible and sometimes trying to get a little bit creative in even though we are a consulting firm, how can we literally just sort of structure an engagement with a client to make it sort of enough of an extended process where it needs to be, or to make sure that we do enough of the capacity building with the right set of people who are then going to take the implementation forward.